Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome. Good to see everybody here. Oh, everybody's coming in. Hello. I hope everyone's having a good Friday, a good week, end of week, and going into the new week here, our weekend. What's up? What's up? Passing my stuff out here. But I'm so excited. Today is going to be a fun day. We have we wanted to do something a little bit different today and go ahead and have music. We want to talk about music and AI. So this is going to be exciting because I don't know much about it other than what I've been trying to do related to AI. And we have some people here that can definitely help us understand what we can do, different types of music tools that we can use, and just a lot of different conversations. But it's going to be kind of open, and I think we're going to have a good time. But welcome everyone. And Salma and Amli are my co-hosts today. Taylor, you definitely need to pipe in as much as possible. And we have Tommy Berenger here from Traxy. Thank you, Tommy, my old friend here on this space. He's been coming for over a year now. Thank you. And we're going to have a couple more guests, but Amli is here. It's Ezra. I have to get him a mic in a second here, but we have Ezra from Audio Cipher. He's going to be on the panel today. And then we have Christine and Victor from Kyber coming in. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. But Salman, you want to say anything?
Happy Friday, everyone. So delighted to have you guys in our Friday spaces. So, as Heather said, we are set for an engaging discussion on music AI today. And we have the lovely Ezra, Victor, Christine, Tommy, and Emil, alongside with our wonderful panel. And yeah, special thanks to Heather and a warm welcome to all of you guys.
Thank you. And Amli, thank you for helping me out here. I'm trying to pass the mic to Ezra. I'm trying to get you there. But Amli, you want to say anything before we get started?
Sure. I'll take some
Thank you.
space up while you're getting people up. Hello, everybody. I'm Amelie. I'm super duper, ooper excited for this space. I have been waiting to talk about generative AI within the music scene for a while now. So I am really excited. I know a little itty bitty bit. I am working with a generative AI company in music right now, but I'm also really excited to hear like the smarts who I know are up here with me, Ezra and Tommy and some other people. So I have a lot of questions too, even though I work in the space. So I'm excited. I hope everyone else is freaking excited. I see Ezra still isn't up here yet, so I don't know if I should just keep going.
No, I think he's on his desktop. So I'm
Oh,
trying to figure out how to get him on the mic. Does that work right now?
I
Do you know?
don't think it does.
Anybody?
I
Okay,
think
so he's
I
jumping on
think
the
he
mobile
has to
now,
be
so we'll
on
get
the
him on there. And people are gonna we might get you up here in a minute. And
yes.
also Victor and Christine, please request a mic when you're here and I will go ahead and get it to you. And I just want to tell everybody that this is a interesting time right now. There's so much going on in AI, generative AI, and there's so many, especially with video capabilities. And every day we're getting a little bit more and more advanced with the things that we can do. So I think that music in AI will be music and voice and different things, all these things that we can add to these the content we're creating, and thinking of new types of content. I think it's really exciting. It's only it's February now, right? So I can't imagine what we're going to be doing by this summer, but I think it's going to be pretty wild. So it's a lot going on. And then there's recent news with different things related to different music groups. I'm not sure what do they call that? The platforms that provide with TikTok and things like that are happening, and opportunities for people to branch out and do a little bit, think differently about how they are going to create that content the same way, and how we're going to go. Like there's probably alternative ways, but people may not understand how to, do that. So I think it'll be exciting. But for the people on the panel, I just want to say, please, it's an open forum. This is really just to kind of help. We wanted to expand our audience a little bit and to give a little bit more information to people. So if you have something to say, go ahead and jump in. You don't have to raise your hand. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments for the audience, please put it in the chat below. And I don't know, we're going to try to stick to an hour again today. We're working on it. It works out pretty well. So if you could put the questions and the comments in the chat, somebody will, hopefully answer that. Anyone here can go. Feel free to provide some information, plug your products, do whatever you got to do down there in the chat so that we can keep it rolling and respect everybody's time and hopefully get the people on the other side of the Atlantic and Pacific. I guess you're still okay, but we want to get you to bed eventually here so we can end early. But thank you all. And Ezra, does he have a mic yet? We got him.
He's having like I don't know if anyone has any.
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
yeah, okay, requested. And I'm still looking for Christine and Victor from Kyber, but I just want to say, invited everybody here today, and I really don't know much about music. I'm not a musician, and I kind of fumble around when I try to generate something. Just typing in a text prompt for it or picking a song. I'll spend too long just kind of going through every single track trying to figure out is that hip hop, is that whatever. So I just wanted to throw it to you guys. Can you just tell me what you do and like what do I need to know if I'm a creator right here and I just want to get into a little bit of AI music or music in general with my AI?
Tapping my mic. Is this thing on?
Yes.
Yeah, you
All
are.
right.
You are.
We made it.
Whoever
Awesome.
wants to take that. I didn't really throw it out to anybody, but whoever wants to. I know it's a broad question, but feel free.
Cool. I guess I'll take it. So I've been writing about AI music for about 2 years right now. We've been maintaining the blog over at Audio Cypher and trying to just put a spotlight on different tools that are coming out. So when we first got started, it was pretty early on. We were looking at tools like DALL-E and ChatGPT and kind of speculating about a future where these text to image and sort of text chat bots might, bridge the gap into audio. And we had seen some of the early products from OpenAI, so things like Jukebox and MuseNet, and we're really excited to kind of dream about what was possible in the future. And now in the last year, it's just been so wild. Like April, May of last year was when I saw a lot of things starting to pop off with companies like WaveTool and then, Music LM from Google and then Music Gen from Meta. It was like every month there was a new one coming out. So we've done our best to keep up with that and try and highlight the best tools in the space. Kind of the most recent one that we saw that was fun, and Heather, you and I were talking about it briefly in our chat, but there's this image to music kind of workflow that's happening now where a lot of people have been playing with text prompts, turning it into different stuff, and not everybody likes thinking of words to describe their vision for something. And so it's been kind of cool to look at, different, let's say, multimodal approaches to creativity. And yeah, so been kind of just looking at that and video to music. There's a lot of other ways beyond text to explore and create.
Right. Ezra, do you know how to post something up to a banner, like to the space itself? Because you did a little, like a tweet or something recently where you were looking at some image to music actual tools. For people who don't know, image to music is basically like you can use the tool to put in an image that you have, and the AI will interpret, that image and create music to basically, I don't know if it's necessarily to go with it, but like almost using the image as a prompt for the music. So it's super cool. I really like it. I mean, I'm guessing what's going on in the background is that just, it's like using a clip to make a prompt out of the image and then just feeding it into the music generator. But like, it's usually like remarkably pretty like good at capturing the same essences. I was playing around with it too, and it's like a lot of fun. I think you sent me. Did you send it? I'll put it up.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Behind the scenes, it's about taking some of these like image captioning tools and then turning that into music. And what's interesting is abstractions like descriptions of events or objects, things that don't necessarily have any like overt musical meaning, can be converted or understood into music. I think that's actually more so where the magic's happening. And so, yes, SoundGen is kind of the tool that I was promoting. There's also an audio to sound effects generator that's fun and that's free up on Hugging Face. So, Amri, I saw that you had posted that and experimented a bit. Actually, the the example we used in the article was from one of your. I don't know exactly what the intention of the contest was. It was sort of one of your weekly image and music, sort of like creative prompts, let's say, for your community. So yeah, it's really interesting to see how like an app like let's say Midjourney or Dolly, if you generate a series of images with the same prompt in each one, and then pass them into a tool like SoundGen or Audio LDM through the Hugging Face space that we linked to, just what that does and how they differ. So, for example, one of the content creators that I work with at Audio Cipher, Brett, he put together this like shootout between Midjourney and Dolly. So his question, we were kind of like openly speculating, like if we had a series of movie posters, let's say in Dolly and Midjourney respectively, and we use the exact same prompt, a lot of times people will be like, okay, which one creates the better poster? But we were curious, which one creates the better poster for music? So we actually ran that experiment with 5 different genres of films, and then kind of showed back to back, what we thought about each one. And what's cool about SoundGen, and I think they're not the only tool that can do this, but this notion of being able to not only sort of pass in the image, but also use text to condition to kind of clarify what it is you want, is also there. So you can do things like uploading an audio sample. If you have like, let's say a melody or like an initial idea creatively, you can upload that with the image. You're going to get some text prompt out of it. You can modify the text prompt before you create. And then once you generate that, if you like what you have, then you can even expand on it. So you can take, let's say, the initial 15, 20 seconds of audio, highlight the section that you like, and then tell it to elaborate on that. So it's kind of this interesting new approach to creativity where you don't necessarily need to have music theory or instrumental chops. You just need, a vision for what it is that you're aiming for, and just the patience to iterate as you like find the thing that you wanted to, ultimately arrive at.
So you can use
Ezra.
the image and the text prompt too. It's not just the image.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, correct. So,
wow.
if you upload a poster, let's say, it's going to describe it. So it's like, a campy horror film or like a quirky indie film or whatever. And then you might be like, yeah, let's create something out of that. Or you could say, well, I want to make sure that this has a guitar in it, so you could throw that in. It also has, I mean, a lot of AI tools are doing this now, where there's the magic prompt wand, where you click on that and it'll expand or kind of infer like a deeper set of attributes. So, and SoundGen specifically has been pre-prompted behind the scenes to create musical attributes. So if you say something like guitar 1970s, it's going to give you a whole bunch of parameters when you hit that magic wand that the model is able to kind of understand more effectively than maybe just like a couple words.
Very cool. Go ahead, Tommy. I didn't mean to interrupt whoever was going to go next. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say that Tommy had popped in, but I was also going to say that I posted in the thread of this space the article that Ezra did on those image to music generators, so people can go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tommy.
Look at the top. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks,
I had my AirPods in and I wasn't sure if they were working. I've been having problems with them, so it's good. I just got off of it and got on my speaker. Can you guys hear me okay right now?
Yes, we can. I understand what you're going through.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Tommy Berenger. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Traxy. We are an AI music company. And something that Ezra said about having tools that are making it easier. I don't know if verbatim what he said, but something about making it easier. And that's what our mission is to make sure anyone who needs any type of any type of music, whether it be musicians, whether it be creators for their visuals, or for the backgrounds of their videos, whatever they're doing to make the process of music creation streamlined. And we are now working on, because I know he also mentioned something about audio, um, audio to audio, and we're doing music to music right now. We had a product out called Traxy Revamp, which was out for a while. We had a small beta test group, and we had to take it down. We had some issues with it, so we're just refining things, and we're going to have it back up in a couple of weeks, hopefully. And that essentially allows you to say upload an 8-bar guitar riff or piano progression or drum loop, and 8-bar is basically meaning 8 counts. So that's like just a section of a piece of music. And maybe like a 10-second section. And you can upload that stem, that music by itself, like a guitar, not the master recording, but the music by itself. Select a genre, select a duration, and then you get back a fully instrumented, and arranged and mixed track that incorporates your music into it. And I mean, the response on it has been crazy. So we're like working tirelessly to try to get this out within the next couple of weeks, to make sure we can release it to all of our users, because we only had a small group, and we just had to make sure it's working properly with the beta group, of course, and then we're going to release that. So going back to what we've been talking about. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I just got home here. Just just making any type of music creation process streamlined, and that's what we set out to do. For example, there's a local band here called Halfway to Neptune, and it's a kid band, and one of the kids is going to come on. I'm going to videotape him trying out Traxy Revamp up, because they don't know, they're in a band, but they don't know how to use a DAW. They don't know how to use FL Studio, Pro Tools, Ableton, GarageBand, and this is the new the new era we're seeing. Like when I started creating music, I was in the music industry for 18 years, producer, songwriter, A&R, artist relations, every hat in the music industry. When I started out, producing. And when I was producing, when I started out, I went to GarageBand. I went to Guitar Center, bought a 4-track recorder, bought a keyboard, bought a microphone, and that was my setup. And now this is going to allow these kids who are in a band right now that don't know how to use a DAW, that don't know how to mix, give them the tools to be able to streamline this process and be able to create something that maybe they didn't know they were going to, uh, create, give them inspiration, because maybe they had a guitar riff and they wanted to try it in, who knows, a hip hop format instead of just rock. So you can select hip hop or reggaeton, put the guitar riff in, and then get back that vibe on the output.
That's amazing to hear that too, because I was going to ask you, do you see a lot of, what do you see the most of? Are people using different types of music gen? Like, are they using it with the image or an image or audio? When you were testing that out, do you have people that are asking for something, a certain type of generation that would make it easier for them?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So our specific segment of users for Traxy, I can't speak on Splash Music or anyone else out there, but we're seeing a lot of people that have been asking for text to music. So we're releasing our text to music product within this month, within this quarter. So that's something we're working on in parallel with this music to music. So a lot of people, that has been, the most hands raised from users there has been text to music. And another one, not a lot of people know about music to music, but the people who did know about Revamp, and it's been taken down. So we're having a lot of our Revamp users like, hey, where's the music to music product? I need it, I need it, I need it. So we have been seeing an uptick in requests from text to music, and also for our product that we had, the Traxy Revamp.
That's cool. Well, Amelie, what about you for Splash? Could you speak on that? Do you know what people are most interested in, or is it pretty spread out?
Gosh, boy, do I wish I knew what people are most interested in. People are interested in everything. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I really, I went through the AI art, renaissance, I guess you could call it. Throw out.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
great. That's exactly what it is.
So I went through that in the 2022-2023 era, all way back when. And I feel like it was so exciting and it was so cool and it was so amazing to see, to go from like a disco to diffusion to suddenly, Dolly 1 comes out to suddenly, Mid Journey V2. And like that's really where we're at right now, I feel like, with music. So we're in this sort of like right on the precipice, it's of just this new explosion of creation, which is what's so exciting to me about it. And maybe I just like reliving my past, the exciting past of discovery. Um, but so right now, people really want everything. I mean, with the blow up, I think, of Suno at the end of last year. And if you guys don't know what Suno is, and by the way, I work for Splash Music. I guess I should probably say that. And we have AI algorithmic search and also AI generative, which is like text to music. So you guys can go check that out if you want to. It's very fun. But oh crap, I lost my train of thought because I got all
No,
weird
that's
about
okay. No,
plugging myself.
hey, no, because it's a lot, and there's a lot of. It's a broad question too. But I was going to ask, like, Victor. I don't know if you're available. If you could say something.
Oh, right.
Thank you.
What people
No,
want.
no, and like I don't would it or if
I
I
can
don't mean to
sum it
cut
up
you off,
really
but
quick. No,
oh, okay.
you're fine. I think with the hit of Suno at the end of last year, with people being able to easily just gen like a song with lyrics, like just putting in, I want a song about my puppy licking some ice cream. And you get like this full on song about a puppy licking some ice cream. And it sounds like, a pop artist made it and it's crazy. But there's a lack of control at the moment, and I think that's the same thing that happened with AI. And for me, with AI art, I mean, and for me, I feel like that's really where we're at. People are really wanting more control, and just the ability to put more of themselves in it a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, 100% agree with the control. That's another thing. Thanks for bringing that up, Amli. Is that we have had many requests for more control, more flexibility on their music. That's one reason we just came out with our intensity feature, where that allows you to select, more instruments or medium amount of instruments, or just like a couple of instruments. But overall, a lot of users are asking for more flexibility. And now there's a fine line between us, and we do not want to be a DAW. A DAW, digital audio workstation, for those that don't know. That is like a garage band where you edit your music and your songs and your beats. Um, so there's a fine line between becoming a DAW and where we are, where our core competency is. And we just want to make sure that we stay true to what our users want. And the way that they're asking is, okay, I want more flexibility. They're not exactly saying, and that's an art to it. You have to know what your users are saying. That's an art of being a product manager. I was a head of product at a SaaS company for 5 years as well, and that's kind of understanding what the users want. They weren't in so many words saying, "Hey, I want this to be a DAW," but they were saying, I need to be able to add reverb to this. I need to be able to take the low end out of this. So you just, it's kind of a fine line, at least that we're walking at Traxy, is we don't want to become a DAW, but we do want to give as much flexibility as we can without making it, they're adding too much friction to the user flow.
And also probably I guess for keeping it easy enough for people who don't have experience um, in there too, right?
Oh
That
yeah, exactly. That's, yes.
I
We
appreciate that
always keep
myself.
that. Yeah, we always keep that in mind, always.
AP, what's up?
Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Can everybody hear me all right?
Hey, welcome. Yes, can we sure can.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you for joining
How's it
us.
going? So I just had a question. Where are the current, or what are the current limitations around like generative music right now? Like if we're talking about image, right, image generation or video generation, one of the biggest problems is consistency amongst like characters or consistency amongst style. And like now we're beginning to solve them with like IP adapters and things like that. But yeah, I really don't know much about generative music, so would love to hear, what you all think are the limitations. I know like data is like a gigantic one. But yeah, really would love to hear your
Yes, I was
thoughts.
just gonna say data.
Yeah, data.
Yeah, data. I mean, that's a big one we're seeing. I mean, the more data, like data is the new oil. I mean, it's been like that. So the more data you have, the bigger, obviously the bigger library you're going to have, the better output you're going to have, and the more variation of output you're going to have, because there has been an overall kind of a sameness problem. So when you get something back, it's going to sound similar to something else. Like if you typed in, I don't know, Drake hip hop beat, or I don't know, something, right? And you type that in maybe 50 different times, you're going to get some similarities back. So having more data will definitely solve that issue. And then going over, with just data storage capabilities, because music files are very large. So that's another issue. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing this like really in the music space as well. There's a lot more talk of going into this from people who are creating it, as to like what sort of data to use. I think the music people in music just have, if we look through the history of music and just like all the copyright stuff, I think they're just a little bit more hesitant usually. So we're seeing a lot of difference than with the AI art, where we're starting off with people who are very just being very mindful about like the data that they use, and of course there's other places that aren't. But like I believe Trax.eu and I know Splash as well just use in-house data, and that can be limiting when you're going up against some people who don't. But it's still that conversation is a really big one. And then AP to also like address your issues. I mean, it's very similar to the AI art space, right? Like we are still working on some consistency and some control issues, quality as well. There have been great leaps, but I would say we're at like Midjourney V2 right now, Midjourney V3 maybe. We haven't cracked the six finger problem in music yet. you know um so but I love that, like, and I don't know if you guys follow like data bots or some of these other, a great person to follow, I wish he was here. But like, it's at a time where you're discovering a new sound, like something that's new and cool and interesting. And especially when you're using it like multimodally with some of your like AI artwork to begin with, it becomes this kind of like whole new creative experience. And that's not to say that it sounds bad. Like you can make some really freaking sick stuff without having a lot of knowledge about music. I know nothing about music. I knew nothing about music when I started this journey in October. So, those are the challenges, but they can also be the blessings. I think I see Ezra's hand up.
Yeah, just want to jump in on that too, because one of the limitations as a musician is also like being able to take, let's say, you mentioned Suno or Splash or any of these really cool, kind of text to song generators. Taking that as a musician, being able to bring that into a DAW and do something. So like stem separation has been a big one. A lot of people are solving that. Audio Shake comes to mind. RipX, we recently did a review of them, but they're actually, speaking of DAWs, like they're not doing too much in the way of generative right now. I think maybe they're building towards that, but RipX is kind of interesting because they've made, if anybody who's listening who's familiar with Melodyne, these are like pretty expensive tools. I forget the last time I looked, they were retailing $500 or $699. So, but it's kind of, people know it as auto tune. It's the idea that you could take whether it's a vocal melody or a polyphonic, let's say like a guitar or finger picking pattern, and go into the actual audio file and move the notes around. And it's not just MIDI, it's the actual notes themselves. So I mean, in theory, you can take anybody's existing musical performance and fine tune the timbre of the vocals by splitting it and doing, any kind of audio editing, but also changing the notes themselves. That's, to me, one of the most exciting applications, and also one of the limitations in that. If you look, like we've been tracking audio to MIDI now for about a year. The first one I ever saw was SampLab, other than Melodyne, and SampLab was doing kind of a audio to MIDI where you could see the piano roll. It would do stem separation on a few different tracks. But it was essentially, you would have like maybe guitar, bass, drums, and other instruments. So you're limited to the different types of instruments that could be inferred. Let's say you wanted to do a cinematic composition and then you get, 4 or 5 different orchestral instruments. Like some of these audio to MIDI tools are not trained on differentiating a French horn from a bassoon or whatever, So, I mean, that sounds like some nerdy stuff, but the applications long term of this is going beyond just creating songs to creating compositions. I think even for film. So if we have video generation, for example, people want to tell stories. Right now we're telling stories through images, we're telling stories through text. Soon we'll be creating long form text to video. Plenty of examples of that with Pika and Runway. Also, like the AI music videos out there. I know Kyber's in the call somewhere, or I think they were going to be. So I'd love to hear from them. But Kyber Neural Frames is doing AI music videos. So it's a really exciting time for storytelling, and like I think music plays a big part in good films. And I think that anybody who has a vision for a scene is going to go in and create some music and say, okay, I really like this, but I want to strip out this instrument. I want to change, the timbre of this particular part, and I want to be able to add a little lead melody. And so the ability to go from that sort of like instant generation mentality, which is kind of, in my mind, in some ways, kind of a fast food, like quick satisfaction, but not a lot of nutrients, so to speak, to like stripping it down, getting all the different stems, and then changing notes around. That's where I think musicians have been fairly limited until recently. Right now, RipX and SampLab are like the 2 big audio to MIDI tools that I've used.
And think about something that you made me think of, Ezra, was like, what if you can upload an entire, like you said, an entire scene, get the like video to score. Like, so if you can get the entire score for a music score for that video scene, just to get maybe 80% done, and then just start picking around it, that would be amazing. We've had a couple of users ask for that. That's nothing that we would think about delving into just as of yet. Of course, it's on our Trello board as everything comes in for user requests. But that I think is something that would be insanely useful and insanely amazing if just say video to score.
Exactly. And coming
AI.
full circle, with at the beginning of this, we were talking about image to music with SoundGen, but SoundGen is actually the parent company is Audio Design Desk, which is it's like an award-winning sound design and Foley DAW. So essentially, a lot of people in the video industry have been struggling with the fact that Adobe Audition and Premiere, you have to bounce back and forth. If you want to swap in, let's say, different risers and impacts and all the rest of it, the peak
Right.
sort of audio transient may fall at a different point. So let's say you have like a riser that's 5 seconds long and a riser that's 10 seconds long, but the peak moment where it climaxes is at a different marking point. What Audio Design Desk solved a few years ago was to essentially have, like, they call it sonic intelligence, but you hot swap in the right sample. Once you have one sample set, it can take any other sample from their 70,000 file library, and essentially you can just rapidly go through and iterate on different risers or impacts or whatever kind of sound that you've chosen until you get the sound you like. And so they actually have this new AI music tool set that they're working on. SoundGen is like the big one, but there's a video embed feature in SoundGen currently, so you can sync up the AI generated music that we were talking about with the playhead of any video. So you can like bring in a YouTube URL, or you can upload the file from your computer, and then you can sync up the audio with that. And then once you kind of have a vision for it, that can load directly in Audio Design Desk 2.0. And then people can actually incorporate that into like real, like serious production workflows. So, and I have spoken with leadership there, and they are working currently on video to music. So that should be out in the next month or so.
I'm going to try to put some of these links into the chat. If anybody else has any, please feel free to put them down there. Thank you so much for giving us all these new tools. Now I'm getting excited. Go ahead, you got your hand up.
Yeah, but I saw AP. AP, did you have you
Oh
had your
yeah.
hand up for a hot second?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm really excited about the music innovation, all that happening right there, mainly because, like, if you look back at like the history of music, some of the most innovative artists really took advantage of like a rapid iteration process. I think of like Prince, all these like amazing artists, and now, we're sort of hitting like a stagnation where, like rap and hip hop are becoming sort of stale, like at least in my opinion. So yeah, really looking forward to all that. And my main thesis is that a lot of this is really being driven by like the open source community, right? On the visual side, you think of like the forum and Parsec, right? Animate Diff, like all these amazing things happening in the open source community. And yeah, I'm really hoping the same, or I'm pretty sure we're seeing the same with music, but the explosion of all the amazing things coming out, it's going to be really awesome to see.
Yeah, just imagine we're talking about things like audio to audio, and who would have thought that just even 6 months ago. That's just insane that we have the image to image to audio, which is amazing too. I've used that several times. Well, not use it to generate, but to use it to choose music. But I know that some of the apps have that. um who was going to go next? Emily, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump onto the conversation about like video to audio. It's also something that we're working on, and it's something that's like really cool and exciting. But this is like the stupidest thing. But yesterday, this thing dropped. It's just a research paper, but it's dance to music. So it follows basically a video of somebody dancing, and it generates a song. And the song basically it's interpreting like all the beats by like how the body is moving, like seeing like, oh, when someone does this, it's like hitting a beat, and it generates a song that like goes to that person dancing, and it hits. Like, it's crazy. So like that's kind of like the insane area that we're going. And I was like, TikTok, great. Like,
Oh, that's what you
we
posted. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So, I'll post it up top. I'm sorry, I haven't posted a bunch of my stuff. It's all stuff that people have been talking about. Like, I did a Ripex DAW thing earlier, so I just wanted to put it up there for people who wanted to know more about it. But yeah, I'll shoot the dance to music thing up there because it's pretty crazy. And like that, it's those types of creative thought uses of how we can use all of these tools multimodally that is just really exciting. I don't know.
Well, Victor, if you're able to speak, I wanted to hear you or Christine talk a little bit about what you're seeing and how music is integrated with a lot of video, generated video with Kyber. You just had a live stream concert or an event, a week or two ago? But they're
Yeah,
doing
we
a lot.
did.
And
We
welcome back.
did.
Good to see. I haven't seen you in a while,
I
so
know.
thank you so
Hi,
much
Heather.
for coming. I missed you.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know, I'm Victor. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Kyber. Um, Definitely approaching this from a different perspective than I think most people here. We don't have anything yet on the generative AI audio side. But obviously, I think we probably service a lot of the same customers as some of the founders on this panel. But yeah, we had a concert a couple weekends ago that was fully generated with Kyber models. And we've been doing a lot of interesting experimentation with audio reactivity with actually some of the animated diff models. So our proprietary models are built on top of a lot of the open source video models. But we've been figuring out ways to use the audio reactivity to almost, how do I say this? Like, it blends with the morphing that you see in some of these videos. So it also almost turns those like bugs into a feature of the reactivity. So the beat will actually change in a more coherent way what's happening there. So we've been finding a lot of interesting use cases for that specific experiment. So for example, you can upload, actually, Christine, you might want to just post Eric's post here. Our co-founder posted it on his Twitter, but you can upload like a cover art and it'll animate it using the song or whatever song that you want, and make it audio reactive. And we've been exploring some of these use cases that we think could be really useful for musicians just to round out the visual aspects of their art. Yeah, so we're sort of looking at it from a different perspective. I think a lot of the AI stuff that we're seeing right now probably has a lot of use cases for the musicians in our community, but it still feels like it's not super useful from like a plug and play perspective yet. So yeah, this conversation is super interesting because we're sort of, I don't know, this is more for like my learning because I'm hearing a lot of different use cases and it's super interesting.
Well, so you said you have something that will animate the album covers right now?
I just posted something in the chat. Sorry, I had to hop in. I just linked to it's like a Daft Punk experiment that our CTO Eric ran, and it's pretty stable, which is cool.
Thank you very much, Christine. Everybody look in the chat for that. And that's interesting that you said that you have the audio reactivity it's kind of complementing the morphing that we see. That's a perfect use so that it blends in, since we can't necessarily get rid of that yet. But it could, sometimes people do like to use it because it is so creative.
Yeah, we have an internal test. We started with an album cover, and I think it's like at least a minute long, but we cranked up like the weirdness on it, and it made a fairly coherent 1 minute video that went all over the place. But it was like it suddenly like made sense in the context of music, which probably there's something interesting to talk about there of why that's the case. But yeah, that's an interesting research direction that we're paying a lot of attention to.
Okay. Well, no, that's a lot to think about. I'm was going to go through and look at the chat to see if there's any questions. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yes, I'm like loving this conversation. I'm absorbing everything because this is really, I joked with Heather that like I have been putting all my learning on hold because I wanted to be here and just sit in on this. So I appreciate all of the perspectives and voices and subject matter experts here in the room with us, because this really is a great place to learn. My question is more around brand and creator use cases. So we've been talking about like musicians, of course, and how musicians are using these tools, but curious what you guys think on the brand side of things, or even the creator side of things. People who aren't necessarily musicians but use things like stock music regularly, like me. And I will be totally honest and say that I make a lot of like video edits and things like that for brands, and so I've yet to actually use fully AI generated music doing that, even for like a quick like 15-30 second spot or something like that. So I'm curious about how I can do that, number one, what you guys think. And like if you're seeing any like really positive use cases, if you guys know of any like brands or even trials that have kind of tested this and implemented this workflow, I'm super curious what that looks like.
Yeah, so I guess I can start touching on that because that's really kind of like one of the things that we're trying to do at Splash. We're really focused on content creators and like what content creators need and or want out of AI music, basically from that whole idea, right? Of like, I'm a brand, I don't want to use the same sound that, my competitor is using, or like I don't want my tutorial to sound exactly like everybody else's freaking tutorial. I want to be able to make something that is like purely unique and my own. And I think right now, the main ones that are like really, really good for that is like the AI algorithm search model. So like there's actually like two types of music generators, I'm putting that in quotes, out there right now. You have people like, and gosh, I am again probably more on your level of knowledge, Taylor, than like Tommy or Ezra. So you guys can interrupt me if I get this wrong. But like Moobert, Splash's fast model, I think like Boomy, maybe there's some other ones that are basically, or a co-producer by Output. They're doing the same thing. Basically, they have just a huge library of loops, right? Of loops that are made by musicians. And when you write in your text prompt and you're like, hey, I want, an upbeat track for my podcast that sounds jazzy or something, I don't know. It's actually doing a search algorithm. So it's going through and it's searching through its hundreds of thousands of loops. It's pairing them by like their BPM, which is like their beats per minute, and like their key, what key they're in, and basically creating a mix for you. But and it comes out sounding like good, and it is unique in the fact that that mix hasn't been used before, but those loops have been used before. So you might hear like the same drum track in two, generations that you do, but the sound, the song itself sounds different, right? But those are the ones that really are the ones that you're hearing that are like, I could use this in like my ad, like it sounds legit. And I can't believe it's like generative AI. And that's because it's not technically like generative music in the sense that you're thinking about. But it is the highest quality. Now, things that you can run into with those is that, and to be aware of, is that when people generate these songs and use them in like their YouTubes or whatever, I'm not exactly sure because I'm not like a YouTube aficionado, but they'll do something where they'll hit like the button that says like that they own it or that it's copyrighted or something like that, and then YouTube takes that and believes that that's true, so that then if YouTube then catches like the same drum beat, because like let's say you then put up one that had the drum beat of that, it might content block you because it'll be like, oh, I heard this drum beat here and I heard this drum beat here. People aren't supposed to do that. Like you're not supposed to say that like I own that music, because you don't. It would be like saying like if you used like endemic sound and you were like, yes, I own, it would be the same thing. But people do it. And so we're seeing that we're running into this issue. And this is something that I think is going to have to like maybe change in the way that I don't know how it's going to have to change. So that's a risk that you can run, but you're going to get the better sounding one. Then you can go to like the generative models, which just take more time. Like you can get something great from those other ones in like a second, and you can be like, great, I'm going to use that. The generative models, they take more time. They really do. So that can be kind of like the pain behind it. But Splash's AI is a great one. Ezra probably has a list of 100. I saw his hands popping up. But it's like making, an image. Like you're going to be re-rolling, you're going to be trying to find your thing and that kind of stuff. Now, in future, the idea is that, you can start training models, and this is something that you can do if you're like real smart, even right now. But like you can train your own sound, and then you can have your own sound. And then it's completely different, and it's like maybe based off your imagery and, all that kind of stuff. Like that's kind of the future of, I think, content creation for like brands and things like that. And we're on our way. It's just a matter of figuring it out, right?
Well, it's interesting too, because like there's already so many of these little out of the box music features and tools that keep popping up. I know that YouTube is working on one, or maybe has released one. TikTok currently now too. So I think that like we're going to be very nearly in a future where it's just so like innate and natural to a platform to be able to, like a social platform where content, and especially video music related content, is being posted to the platform. I think we're going to see a future where it's just kind of like baked into what we do. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. And Emily, the one last question is the generative models that you mentioned, are those, would you say, a little less out of the box than, you know, the straightforward ones. Because I'm also thinking about, like, if I had to allocate time and talent and I'm working with like an agency or a brand for something like this, like how would I go about doing a completely bespoke, custom 30-second generative AI spot?
I mean, I can go, but I feel like I've been talking for a long time. Ezra, do you, or we're done? Do you want? I don't know if I can also go, but
I can jump in. I was
okay.
just thinking about, because you work with Splash, and I was speaking with the CTO Lex about how good the quality was, and I was like, "Are you guys really doing generative?" And he's like, "No, we are." And I think one of the reasons that it sounds so good at Splash is because they've trained on electronic music versus like some of the other generative models that excite me more as a musician than like necessarily like a content creator or like, you know, a brand that's trying to, you know, create content at scale. It's fun to hear, you know, let's say for example, if you have a little melody, and let's say you are a content creator, you're a YouTuber, and you wanted to have like a 30-second bit for your dog running down the beach, and while you're out there you like hum something into your phone, and then later on you want to upload that as a melodic condition. Some of these tools you could type in, hey, I want an upbeat, fun, you know, song to go with my dog running on the beach, and it will understand that combined with the melody, and it will create a whole arrangement behind that. So there are these sort of like customization layers, whereas something like Splash, you know, you may not have the audio to audio, but what you get in exchange for that, even though it is generative, is a much higher quality of audio. I think, you know, Amelie was talking about Mubert. There's, you know, Boomy, Ava, Soundful. There's like all these first generation kind of tools that came out before some of the diffusion models that, you know, that we see from, we haven't actually mentioned Stable Audio yet, but they're another big one. Refusion is out there. So like those are two interesting ones that are, you know, the quality is getting better and better. But I think, yeah, it'll be interesting to see this year what happens with the quality of things like, you know, music gen. We haven't also talked much about that, but the music gen model is probably one of the most powerful and kind of multifaceted. So I think that, especially with, you know, Zuckerberg recently made this whole announcement about like their intentions with open sourcing their AI, and one of the things he was saying is like, we want to open source this so that we can make it better. And I think, you know, there's actually the founder at UberDuck like reposted that and was like Zuck for the win kind of thing. And, you know, there's a lot of, I think, a controversy around like Meta and just what, you know, what they're going to do with some of these sort of creative tools, and whether it's ultimately going to be for the benefit of people or if they're going to clamp down on it at some point. So I'm hoping that we continue to see more like, you know, technical programming teams coming out and developing, you know, different models. So like we talked about, diffusion models are one, and then I think music gen is a transformer, so it's slightly different tech. But yeah, this year, as far as brands and creating something you really actually feel proud, like throw this onto a high quality video. Music gen isn't necessarily going to be there yet. You would probably need to do some audio cleanup and stuff compared to something like Splash, where it's more out of the box, ready to go.
Well, I have a question about since it's getting closer to closer to 1 hour. I wanted to ask what you guys thought about what was going on with TikTok and that music platform pulling out, and how that will affect. Let me see if I get the. I apologize if I'm
Universal.
understand. Yeah, okay. I forget what they're called, but
Yep.
they represent a lot of the bigger names,
Yep. Taylor Swift,
musicians.
Drake. I think The Weeknd, like a whole bunch of them. As of February 1st, today. Wait, that's today, right? No, yesterday.
Yeah,
It's no
yeah.
longer available
Yesterday.
on TikTok.
So
Yeah,
how?
and
Yeah, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so yeah, for anyone who didn't know, Universal Music pulled all of its music off of TikTok. So basically, if you go search on there, if you're trying to post something in search, you can't find it. But they also are going to strip all past posts. So for, you know, if you're dancing, if you have past posts of you dancing to some music, it's just going to be silent now, which is pretty brutal. I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, they hit the end of their negotiations with TikTok, and they were not happy with with what TikTok was offering. They wanted more slice of the pie. You know, they threw the whole AI stuff out there. I think maybe a little like virtue signaling, maybe. But that's what happened. And, you know, it'll be interesting if TikTok feels pretty darn good about maybe like the AI stuff. Maybe they'll be like, we don't need Universal, and this is going to be a space for like AI music to really move into. I would be surprised if that happens. I feel like they'll come to an agreement probably, but I don't know. That's that's just my point of view.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I think
there's $1 million opportunity for somebody who can figure out how to create generative AI music for all of the videos that get stripped of their past music from TikTok. That would be great.
I mean, dance to music. It's
yeah,
right up
there you
there in
go.
the top.
Yeah,
Go
and I
ahead.
think, you know, that TikTok, I mean, that Universal needs TikTok more than the other way around. TikTok is known for breaking artists. TikTok is, you know, the platform where young kids are discovering new artists. So, I mean, I just think they're trying to do a boss move here for trying to pull some leverage, but I don't know how much leverage they really have. But TikTok is they don't. I don't think they really need Universal, but um, I think that you know something's going to get worked out. I think Omli was mentioning something like that because they're all these record labels need TikTok right now at this moment. This is the platform. This is the discovery platform for music. So I think something has to get worked out.
Honestly, sorry, just chime in. I'm not an expert in any of this, but I just want to say I saw a TikTok video literally of a guy who is part of Universal who was like, I didn't consent to my stuff getting taken off. And like, he's a smaller artist. So he was like, this feels super unfair to me that you guys are taking my music off. Just wanted to throw that out there too, that even it hurts like smaller independent artists as well, on top of like the big names that are getting pulled. So kind of sucks.
That's a good point. Thank you for mentioning that because yeah, that it's unexpected too, and it's pretty drastic. And who knows how fast they can put it back, and if it can happen, even once they do that. That's pretty wild. Go ahead, Ezra.
I was just going to say there was a new AI text to song generator that they rolled out recently, and it was just funny kind of playing with it. I don't know if anybody else has tried, but the voices, even if you're using like English language, the voices have a very like clear sort of, it sounds like a Chinese intonation. And I'm imagining that they were training on, you know, Chinese voices. And so it's going to be interesting to see too, like they have a, there's a guy who came over from Google's DDSP tone transfer program. He goes by your boy Hanoi. He was interviewed a while ago by the Interdependence podcast. And he was talking about having moved over to TikTok's team, and they had a plugin called Mouth, MAWF, that's out. So it's like more of a musician tool. But I was just waiting for the moment where TikTok was going to start creating AI music, and it just dropped, I think, in the last month or so. So it'll be really interesting to see, in addition to like them breaking with UMG, if that persists, then like, are they going to try to fill the void themselves? Or, you know, I like Omli's idea of the dance to music solution. It seems like a fun one.
If you can dance, or if everybody, everybody getting
Well, if you
content
got
on there,
training, if
we're
you've got
like, yeah,
training content, then hopefully,
that's
hopefully you
true.
got something
Yeah,
going on.
there's a lot of
Hey, you
people out
know,
there just putting a little bit on there.
it could fix. Oh shoot!
What's
It could.
wrong?
Did I? Can you hear me? I
Yeah,
said
we
that
can
I
hear
was
you.
getting it. Oh,
Yeah,
I was
yeah, no,
gonna
we can
say.
hear you.
I don't know. I'm really hung up on this dance to music thing. But if you have no rhythm, it'll make your rhythm. You just dance to nothing. It'll make music that'll fit your rhythm, and then you have rhythm. This is really exciting to me because I have no rhythm. So I would love for that to be a thing.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's amazing and that's to the thank you AI. Appreciate it. It's helping us all skill up wherever we need to, even if we don't know we are. But Man, this
Oh
was
no, I think I
oh,
wrote.
go AP.
Yeah, and like if you don't know how to dance, now you can take an image and do the, what is it, animate anyone, and you just put
Oh
a driving
yeah.
video of how to dance. So you don't even
we
need to know how to dance, you know?
Yeah,
Just
you
get
just
everything
come
for you.
in. Yeah, we have so much available. What a time to be alive. Oh my goodness. Well, I appreciate everybody coming tonight. We did well. And I guess we'll have to have more of these, and we'll be more prepared with questions in the audience. And thank you those who were asking for the mic, and I apologize. We were trying to keep it pretty tight tonight. And I appreciate everybody coming out because this was an excellent space, and a lot of us, it affect music is in all of our lives, whether or not we're making content or not with it, and it's just really interesting to hear from these different perspectives. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna let everybody plug themselves. So I see Victor's on. Christine, what's going on with Kyber? You told us a little bit, but what's up? You can plug yourself.
Oh, yeah, thanks for that before we come off. Yeah, we're pretty much working on trying to bring a lot of these interesting workflows into Kyber. I think right now obviously we're very like video focused. But we're hearing a lot of users, rightfully so, complaining that they're having to use like 6 to 8 different tools to do their workflows. And I think we want to try to maybe make their lives a little bit easier. So yeah, more to come there. But I think in terms of like the audio space, I mean, there's a lot of audio reactivity stuff. Obviously, we showed in the chat that we're working on, pretty much to be able to allow musicians to just make more on-brand assets. Because right now, things can get a little wild in the AI space. It's like it hallucinates in some weird and unexpected ways. So we're working on fixing that too. Um, so yeah, those are some of the things we're working on right now. More to come, I think, soon. Appreciate you letting me share that about Kyber, though.
No, thank you. I've been using Kyber since day one, and
I
I
know,
appreciate
yeah.
it's been going well, and it's so amazing just to see the growth over the past year and all the different things, even with like the length of time. A lot of people may not know what's the time length that you can make a video.
With our like flip book, you can go up to 8 minutes. But yeah, you're right, Heather. When you first started using Kyber, we were basically just a Spotify canvas generator. That was like our initial idea, was to make 7-second looping videos, and
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
come a long way in the last year.
it's amazing. No, it's just so good to see, and it's like it evolved with everything over the past year, and it's just it's a lot of fun. And thank you for being supportive of users and trying to follow up with people. So appreciate it.
Of course.
Um, and yeah, guys, check it out if you haven't already. Ezra, go ahead and plug yourself.
Sure thing. Yeah, Audio Cipher is the name of my company. It's a text to MIDI VST, and we are working on V4. It's due to be released in the next month to 2 months. So we're just kind of bug hunting and getting the UI nailed down, but really excited to release that. And yeah, you can go to audiocipher.com to follow the blog. The blog is totally free, and we review new music tools all the time. We also, kind of help put a spotlight on other music companies. So if there's anybody in the chat, Traxby, Tommy comes to mind, but anybody else too, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to chat.
100%. I just want to add, I don't know if people can hear me, but
Yeah, we
Ezra
can
is
hear.
my go-to for any questions I ever have about what's going on in the space. Also, Heather, I can hear everyone, but I can't hear you. So if you ask me a question, I can't hear you. But
Oh, okay.
that's all I have to say.
Okay, I'm sorry I can't DM or and talk because I'll get all jumbled up. But thank you so much for helping out, Omni. And Tommy, I'm going around based on what's on my phone, looking at the faces on here. So Tommy, you're next. Plug
No
yourself.
problem. Thank you, Heather, for inviting me on. It was a great discussion. I wish there was more time. Yeah, I am the CEO and co-founder of Traxy. We are an AI generative music company. And Ezra, I'll definitely take you up on that. I'll reach out to you. And definitely going to check out Audio Cipher. So a couple of things we have on the roadmap for first quarter here is our text-to-music product, and then also our music-to-music product, which I've been mentioning earlier in the call, where you can upload a single instrument stem and then get back a fully instrumented and arranged track. So those are the two of the things that there's many other things, but those are the two things we're working on in parallel to try and get out within the next month or so.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. And AP, what's up?
Oh, well, I hope everyone has a great weekend. I think it's like for on the Deforum side, there's going to be some cool stuff coming soon that I'm really excited for. Spending a lot of work, a lot of time and work. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. But yeah, just have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you. That's exciting to hear. And I've been using the Deforum web app, and because I'm lazy and I don't run it on my locally, I'm just using it on there, and it's so easy. If you are never used it, give it a shot. And it's a nice interface. You can see every single frame from the. I like that aspect of it, and download the frames too. And you can extend your video up to 30 seconds. So thank you. And check that out when you get a chance. The forum beta, and you can also use it continue using it in Discord. So Taylor, if you can talk,
Yes,
plug yourself.
I'll be super quick. I'm here representing the creator brand side of all things content and strategy. So that's me. I write about it. I have a podcast about it. If you are thinking that sounds interesting, feel free to subscribe or follow along. But yeah, as always, appreciate these conversations so much, Heather. And for those of you who are listening in for the first time, or maybe you haven't caught us before, come check us out every Friday because we do these. And I really like this format too, of it being a little more condensed as we have these last couple times, but also kind of focused on specific topics. So this was great to learn about all things music. Definitely worth bookmarking and coming back to later. So appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend too.
Thank you so much, Taylor. And Salma, if you could speak, you want to plug yourself?
Yeah, this has been an amazing discussion. Learnt a lot about AI music. So I'm Salma. I share lots about AI products photography, so feel free to follow me. I share workflows, and I'm building Creates, which is a image generate. Well, it combines AI background images and gives you the creative control to add your products into these themes. But thank you, everyone, and have a lovely, lovely weekend.
Thank you so much, Salma, for helping out and co-hosting. And I appreciate everybody coming. And next time, I wanted to touch on like legal aspects of using the music and like copyright, or not copyright, just like what are you allowed to use if you have a song that you want to show, that you want to play. How many seconds? I'm always asking that question. Things like that. If we can touch on those kind of things and just how
Heather, I
to.
might be able to get our lawyer on maybe if he's
Oh,
willing. So
oh,
he's
that
a
would be helpful.
yeah, he's a Billboard winning music lawyer, John
Oh,
Baldivia. Yeah, so he's our lawyer and he knows all of that. So
yeah, that because most people, we just don't know, and where do you really find out? And whether, depending on what type of music you're going to use, I think that would be very helpful for people and to understand how that works. Oh, go ahead, Ezra.
I was just going to say there's a company called Rightsify. I just met the founder, Alex, recently, but they have a music model that is based on Music Gen, but they trained it on their own sound. They were part of the Pond 5 library that was originally used to train Music Gen. And there's a really interesting set of things around like, companies now beginning to use Music Gen in their own products, and like, is it commercially safe and can you do that? So Alex comes to mind too, but for anybody who's listening, who's interested in the AI music and legal copyright space, that's another person you can kind of dig into their content online as well. Rightsify.
Right. How do you spell? Is it RIGHT?
Yeah, it's like RIGHTSIFI. Their Hydra
Okay.
model is out, but Hydra 2 I think is coming soon, and he was saying that it's fine tuned and sounds like a lot better. So I'm eagerly awaiting that, and would love to hear any thoughts he has about the future of AI music copyright as well.
Okay. No, thank you, because I think that's important, and
And
I think that. Go ahead, Emily.
Go ahead, Amelie. I know you can't hear Heather, but go ahead.
did she tell me to go? Okay, great.
She did.
Thanks, Ezra. I shouldn't be on
You
this
got it.
call anymore. So I am just sort of understanding what's happening from your guys' responses about like I'm guessing about copyright and all that kind of stuff. And Rightsify is really great. Splash also, it's all completely royalty free and safe for our users to use because all of our data, as we said, everything is trained in house, and we also
basically made our everything from scratch. So yeah.
Thank you, Amelie. And everybody just kind of, check out. There's a lot of information in the chat. I was going to say a lot of the things we're talking about. Amelie said she put a article in there from December that has a music tools database of all these different tools, and you can kind of scroll through that, look through in the sound gen. A lot of things we've been talking about, they're down there. People have been dropping stuff. Thank you all so much. There's been I've been trying to repost some of the things that are on there for different events, music events, and things like that. So please feel free. Kyber has the audio reactive visuals that they're talking about for that. That's a cute video. I'm gonna wait until I get off here. Blaine, thank you for the Suno song. Appreciate that. I know you probably just made that a few minutes ago, but I appreciate it. I'm sure it's good. But this is a great space. I really appreciate it. What I've been doing at my YouTube channel, please, I ask everybody stop by and subscribe. It's Heather Cooper or Visually AI. That's my name of my newsletter and my brand, my website. But we're doing well. I got 350 subscribers. So please, stop by there and see. I post the spaces there. I'll have this full space there tomorrow, probably. But I'm also posting a lot of my threads and a lot of like prompt examples, comparisons, and things like that. I'm trying to get all that on there. Lots, I like to play with a lot of tools and just see what I can make with it. So I'm putting those things there. So please stop by and check it out and see. And on TikTok and Instagram, working through that. So I see a lot of people on Instagram, but I'm not really good at it. So or TikTok, Lord. So please, if you see me, say hello, and so I can figure out where you're at on there too. Follow each other, and help support each other. And I hope that everybody has a great weekend. Thank you so much for coming in. Look around and see all the people here. It's so great to see so many friendly faces. But you all find people that you just learned about. Look at their profiles, follow them. Everybody's writing a lot of stuff. There's so much happening. My goodness. Thank you all for the prompts and for explaining how to use some of these tools and different features and just different ways to use it that we might not have thought of. So it's so helpful. Everybody keep doing what you're doing. Creators of all sizes, accounts, let's help support each other. Make sure you go out and engage with as many people as you can. It's hard sometimes, and I apologize. I haven't even been online most of the day, but make sure you try to show a little love, and you start seeing more in your algorithm. I notice when you do that too. So reach out a little bit, try to find somebody new every day that you can engage with. But thank you, and we'll see you here next Friday. Not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but I'm sure we'll have something to talk about. So next Friday, same time, same place. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Have an amazing weekend.
Well, you too. Thanks for coming, Tommy. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks, Christine. Thank you. Thanks, Amelie, if you can hear me. Everybody, thank you, Ezra and AP. Have a wonderful weekend, guys.